I just got a buzz on something. Holy cow, did I just get this? Has Robert Quinn been traded to the Eagles? Okay. It's confirmed. Robert Quinn to the Birds. Wow. 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 Okay, I take it back. Okay, the Birds may have the best defense now. Tell me it was a third. Because remember, I told you when I started my show out, Robert Quinn was on this list of how he had been going after. Look, there's the list of the players. Kareem Hunt, Robert Quinn, the safety from the Niners, and Roquan Smith. Okay? And I wrote up there that someone told me a third rounder. Robert Quinn is a true motherfucker. That guy can get around the edge. He is a pass rushing phenom. Butch Davis recruited him at Carolina. Whew. Now, Sills, keep up your Cowboy D-line love. No excuses now, man. Quinn to the Birds. He has been an absolute star in the NFL and maybe one of the unsung pass rushers. He's not Khalil Mack, but he's in that room with Khalil Mack. You guys theoretically just added Khalil Mack to your D-line. A little bit below it, but he's that kind of guy. Robert Quinn is a guy that Butch is known for a long time, and I got a chance to know him. He's comes from an athletic family. I believe the sister or cousin is an Olympian, was just in the recent Olympics. He's durable. Let's take a look at him, too, on his stats. Robert Quinn statistics. I know he's a 100-sack guy in his career. Here we go. Robert Quinn. This is really a great move. Look at this. He's got 1 sack this year, okay? He's got 1 sack this year he's got 1 sack this year so far in 7 games. Last year he had 18.5. You hope sometimes that these moves don't turn into Ryan Kerrigan moves. Okay? Year before that, he only had 2. I don't know why. Year before that, but listen to this. 11.5, 6.5, 8.5, 4, 5, 10.5, 19, 10.5, 5. He's got 102 career sacks. In 3 years in Chicago, he had 21.5 sacks. Okay? A little bit under, 7, something like that as an average. His best year, obviously, was in 2021 in Chicago, where he had 18.5. And that was a career year, obviously. That's right, Leo. He's 32. How healthy is the guy? Health will be an issue. And get this. Do you play Robert Quinn every down? Or do you play Robert Quinn situationally? You want him in January and December at 32? Do you want to rush him out there as an every down? I'll tell you what this does too now to Reddick. This has got to put him in a more of a freelance mode now where he can really rush the passer even more so. You got 2 edge rushers. 4th rounder for Quinn. I said a 3rd rounder, I believe. How we got him for a 4th rounder. Man, Now, he is making a killing. So and I do believe he's up at the end of the year. So I think it's a rent a guy. How much does Robert Quinn make in 2022 with the Bears? He's making $12.5 million. 32 years old. It's a fourth rounder. It's like the Chris Long pickup. Absolutely. Ron, that's a great comparison. It's like it's like picking up Chris Long. Oh, yeah. I think you situationally rush him. Do you bring him in on third down? Let him rush the edge? Let him be in that position. Let him learn the defense, too. Chris Long, I think his last 2 years in the league, won a Super Bowl in New England and with the Eagles. That defense is no effing joke now. Absolutely, Steven. You've upgraded in one move with a professional pass rusher. You got a professional pass rusher here. It's like the Bills adding Von Miller to their defense right now. Reddick, Sweat, Graham, and Quinn. Is that good enough? Listen, I think it's really good. I still don't think you're better than DeMarcus Lawrence and Micah Parsons at the edge. I don't think you're better. I think you're right there, though. You've closed the gap more to that. DeMarcus Lawrence and Micah Parsons are the premier tandem in the league when it comes to edge rushers. And you now have Reddick and you have Robert Quinn. You've closed that gap for sure. Your D-line's not better because your tackles aren't better. Your tackles have been non-existent this year. Okay? I mean, Howie didn't have to blow up a blue chip pick to get him is great. I know, Brian, I saw the one sack. It concerns me a little bit because, like you said, is he healthy? Now, listen, guys, one thing you have to take into consideration, don't get pinned on the name here. He's got 1 sack in 7 games. Relax. Let's see how he fits in. Before you start calling yourself the best D-line in the league, he's got 1 sack. He's been underperforming. That whole team in Chicago has been underperforming, though. Okay? Relax. Let's see what he does being added to the mix. If that makes it, and does that rejuvenate him like it did Chris Long? 1 sack in 7 games. Okay? It's a depth piece to replace Barnett. Probably so. But personally, hey, no disrespect to anybody. Derek Barnett, Robert Quinn, I'll take Robert Quinn. I'd like to have both of them. Okay? He's got 1 sack. Before you start, this isn't the 18.5 sack Robert Quinn. Relax. I agree with you. Fat mattress. I agree. 4th rounder to get Robert Quinn. I think the money wasn't an issue. Hey, you know what it shows you too? The money wasn't an issue for the Eagles. Because he's making $12.8 million. He's making a pretty big penny here. Paul goes 1 sack on a terrible D-line. Paul, terrible D-line is an understatement. And it is a point. That's why being added, I want to see it. You know what I mean? Now, here's something else to think about. So you think your D coordinator is going to be skilled enough to know what to do with all these guys? You think Jonathan Gannon is going to have the creativity to know how to use him? Do you truly believe that? I don't. I don't believe that. Okay? So I want to see how this is going to look before we start calling. The Cowboys have had those players and those ends in place. They're a top-rated defense in the league right now. Yes, you are number 1 in takeaways. The most important stat you could have defensively outside of points against is that. I completely agree. Okay, I completely agree. Joshua says his remaining salary 7.11. Can't Robert Quinn play defensive tackle? No, he's 255 pounds. He plays defensive tackle. He won't last until December. Mr. International, I don't think he could play in there. He's 255, I believe. I do think he's 6'2", 255. You're going to put that at D tackle? I can't think hard. Well, both those guys in the middle, though. What is the size of Robert Quinn? He runs a 4.6. He's 6'4", 245. I'm not putting a guy 245 pounds at D tackle, taking on Landon Dickerson at 350 pounds. It's not going to happen. Get that guy annihilated. Howie's not finished. 6'4", 245 is not a DT. I never said Gannon's doing a good job. I never said that. I said a fair job. No, he's too small. You're right. 245. You're not putting that at defensive tackle. I would play him against the Steelers. Absolutely. I would. Fat Mattress, I would play him this weekend. Get him in here, pass the physical, put him there. Sills, how does he compare to Michael Bennett? The pickup. When Michael Bennett went to Seattle? I think Bennett was a better pass rusher, a little bit. I had a chance to know Michael when he was in Tampa. After he came over from New Orleans, I had a chance to meet and talk with him. I think Michael Bennett was a little bit better of a pass rusher than what Robert Quinn was over his career. A little bit better. Do we have the means to go after Kareem Hunt? It's going to be a money issue there, though. I mean, what were you, $9 million? Think about this for a second. Okay, like somebody brought up, you guys are like $9 million to the cap. Now you're $2 million. Where are you getting this money for Kareem Hunt? Okay? Yeah, but Fat Mattress, know this. Pass rusher? Dude, get out there and rush the passer. Do you really have to have a scheme for him? Oh, when Bennett went to Philly, okay. That sounds about right. Bears are taking most of the money of Quinn. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I think it's pretty split down the middle. Like I said, he's making about $13 million this year. Yeah, Greg, I got it. I remember that now. He played at the back end of his career when he went. I got it. Quinn's guaranteed money is done after this year. Good move for Howie. Yeah, what you did was you just surrendered a 4th-round pick. You lose it. He's not going to re-sign unless he has some sort of like Chris Long impact on the team, which you don't know yet. He's got one. Hey, pump the brakes, everyone. He's got 1 sack. He's got 1 sack. I'm sure the Eagles did their due diligence if they think this guy's shot or not. And I agree with what some people are saying. That Bears D-line is atrocious. I'm shocked they won that game against New England. They played really hard. They did well. I mean, that's the best game that they've played in a long time. But that defense and that offensive line they got in Chicago, they're both terrible. He was on a horrible team. No, he played 7 games this year. It's not that. Michael, he played 7 games this year. He's got 1 sack. The Bears were about to run him into the ground. Dude, the Bears run everybody into the ground. We only need him for the rest of the year. Danny, it's a rental. That shows you how he's pushed his chip in on this. Because he's not getting anything in return for it. Except for this. Hopefully his play Right? Right? Bears are also eating most of Quinn's remaining salary, so very little downside for the Eagles here. That's from John McMullen from Birds 365. Again, though, the only thing you're surrendering, you're losing the 4th-round pick in 2023. You've lost it. And you're hoping he plays great. Either way, that pick goes away. That player won't be here next year unless he has a Chris Long impact. Okay? If he has a Chris Long impact, it was well worth it. If he doesn't, it was a gamble, and it cost you a 4th-rounder and very little dough. Robert Quinn to win. Robert Quinn for the win. You're gambling. I think it is a strategically well done gamble. I am all for general managers pushing chips in when you see the finish line. You see, Howie Roseman now sees the finish line. He sees it. He sees he can get there. He knows he needs probably some help at safety. He needs edge rushing talent. He could use another back, maybe some depth at tight end. Absolutely. I am 100%, even with the low production numbers this year, Bears are a train wreck. Dude, they're digging out of a hole. Roquan Smith, man, I was a round off for Robert Quinn. I started the show off, guys, saying that Howie had made a call to the Bears. I turned out to be right. Okay? I turned out to be right. He's asked for 2 players, Roquan and Robert Quinn. There they are at the bottom. This is how I started my show out. I heard it was a 4th that the Bears wanted, or excuse me, a 3rd. Howie probably talked him out of it. And the Bears are picking up the dough. Sills, what do you think? What do you do? What do you grade this trade? A+, even if it fails. A+. A+. Bears are eating most of the cash. You need an edge rusher. You've brought in a pro. If it fails, it wasn't because they didn't go after him. And they didn't go after it. Sitting back on your ass right now when you're this close? Why? When it's there for the taking. It's a 4th-rounder they are sending confirmed. I'm glad we started the show out, and I'm glad I made our calls. A lot of conversations with the Bears over the last couple days that Howie Roseman was having. We had heard that throughout the last 48 hours. They had a lot of conversations with Carolina, too, on Brian Burns first and then McCaffrey. They've contacted Andrew Berry and Kareem Hunt. I think he's working that deal. I don't know because Hunt is a 3rd and a 5th. What I'm hearing. Some are saying a 4th. Okay?